What's up, guys? Welcome to the Thursday night Level Up Squad team call. I'm super excited that you guys are here. And I love seeing Sandra, Laura, and Alma, who are all working together on the team call together, holding each other accountable. And I also see Nicole on here. I got to see Nicole again. She came to Draper, Utah on a 5-night trip. So we got to spend a lot of time over this past week together. And I see Alethea on as well. For those of you that don't know, Alethea was my corporate mentor way back when I first started my business. So glad you're here listening as well. And then I'll keep track so I can make sure I keep adding people in. So I just wanted to remind you guys about Summit, about the small changes that they made. And so what they did is it won't start Thursday night like it typically does. It will start Friday morning and go all the way till Saturday night. So it's basically they'll keep all of the same content. They just took out the first Thursday night opening session and then put whatever they were going to share into the other session. So it's just 2 days. I'm still going to stay the same amount of time. And I actually like this plan because Summit, as you guys know, once it starts, it feels like it ends within a few breaths. So I think it gives us a little more time to get connected as teams and sit around the table together and kind of plan out what we want to do coming out of Summit that way. So super excited about that. I know a few of us are going on the Success Club trip coming up in March. But the only real other announcement that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of right now is that the buy one, get one free year BOGO sale ends January 31st. So there's just a few more days left of that, like 6 days left of that. It's a great opportunity for you. The way that I'm using it is I'm reaching out, looking at my customer list and reaching out to both active customers that have a BOD subscription. Even if they're renewing in February, March, April, I'm just letting them know about it and saying like, hey, here's an option. I know you'd lose out on 2 or 3 months, but if you cancel and repurchase it, you'll have 2 years access versus 1. So I've been working with that. It's also been a really good tool for me as I'm doing follow-ups with people who showed interest before, for me to go back to them and say, hey, I know you were a little bit concerned about the price or whatever their objection might have been. And I'm just sharing with them like, hey, until the end of this month, you can actually get 2 years free. And I did a prospect call with a girl that owns a studio in Utah, like a health and beauty studio. And she wanted to add on some sort of way to help people with health and nutrition. And when I was telling her about the prices, like I just laid out the prices as it is normal. Like this is what Shakeology costs. This is what our pre and post workouts cost. This is what our collagen is. This is what our BODi is. And she's like, oh, those are pretty good prices. And I was explaining, you'll earn a 20% commission on these supplements and you'll earn a 35% commission when you sell BODi. And when I got down to like, okay, here's how you enroll. When I was like, if you do it before January 31st, this is the call I did yesterday, you actually get 2 years for that price. And she's like, that's crazy. She's like, that's crazy that you get 2 years like that. So follow up with people and let them know about that deal and take advantage of that as a great opportunity to re-engage a customer that might have fallen off, to re-engage a prospect, that maybe had fallen off or whatever. It's a great way to come back to the conversation and let them know, hey, I was thinking of you and there's this deal that I just took advantage of. So there you go. This team call does not have a topic. We call this the Q&A roundtable is what the leaders wanted to call this one. It's just an opportunity for you guys to come here and just connect and ask questions about anything. Like it could, how to run groups, how to set whatever you want. I'm here to help answer questions, or if anybody else here has answers to those questions, we're all here to help you. So I would love for you to unmute and ask a question. I see Laura raising her hand.
Yes, of course. You know me. I always have questions.
And I love they have questions because I have a hard time with silence. So
Okay, so with the people you're reaching out to for the BOGO, are you sending them if you've never met them? Because I have a whole list of people that I mean, I've never met, they were like free leads and I printed it out on an Excel spreadsheet
Yeah.
through the back office. And then I'm just sending them an email. Um, some of them have phone numbers, but I've never talked to them. So I just introducing myself. Hey, it's me, Laura, your body coach, and just explaining what we have. But I know that seems kind of salesy, but I don't really know them. So,
Yeah. So I'm doing it in two ways. Like I did, so you have you've exported an email list, right? So
mhm,
I sent out an email like with a short video from me and also like just explaining here's the deal and sent it out to my entire customer list. Now I don't know who's going to open that and who's not going to open that. But so you can do it that way. So that's I'm just telling you what I've done. I've done that. And then I go to my prospect list. So the way I have my prospect list, it's like a follow-up list of hot leads, have your 10 in play as we're teaching right now, have 10 prospects in the wheelhouse. I have that list of my prospects that are thinking about joining my next 90-day shred group or about coaching. But once I have a prospect that goes cold or ghosts me or whatever, they go on to just another list of someone that I've talked to that once showed interest. And like I have a long running spreadsheet of those. So it's reaching back out to those people individually and saying,
mhm.
hey, and I'll go back and I'll look, each of those has a note like Facebook, email, Instagram, so I know where to find them. It'll go back, I'll read our last few messages, see where it kind of fell off, and I'll be like, hey, I know we haven't chatted since this date or whatever. I just wanted to let you know about this deal that came up. And it's for me, it's just always been voice texting. So I'll send a voice message to them. For example, the partner prospect that I had the phone call with yesterday, I checked our last conversation was June of 2016. And I just reached back out and I was like, hey, what have you been up to? We had we didn't go straight to it. I saw what she was doing on her social media. She's like doing cold plunging. So I asked some questions about that. I saw she was working out. And so I just asked some questions and then discovered that she has her business and that she's looking to expand it. And that's where I just threw in a invite. And then obviously that led to me also showing the BOGO deal, right? So
I have a guy that's been ordering body quarterly.
yeah, that's one definitely. I
And practically every, not every month, but probably every 6 months, I'll message them and say, hey, you can get this deal. I mean, it's going to be a lot cheaper if you order it. And now figured it out over 2 years. I could save him almost $560.
Yeah, have you showed those numbers to him?
Yes.
Okay.
He never responds back
That's
to me. It's like
that's all right.
he must not care that he's spending all this money, but
Yeah.
man, if I could save that kind of money, I'd be on it in a hot minute. So,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in that kind of case, there's nothing you can really do in that case. But with your leads that you were talking about, by all means, like even if you've never had a conversation, you can send a text to them if their number's in there and they're not listed on Do Not Disturb. You can just say, hey, this is I'm your coach, Laura. Mine's really short. It's like a copy and pasted. It's like, hey, my name's Scotty. I started out with a program just like you might be doing. Mine says I started out with P90X back in 2010. And then I just ask, have you started any of if I've never had a conversation with them, have you done any of the programs yet? I just kind of start it very simple like that.
Okay, I was gonna ask that if you reach out like using their text numbers, like to text for
Yeah.
the leads,
Yeah, I
because I
do.
never had.
Yeah, I do text. If their text one's there, I prefer to do that one. One thing, just to give you an idea, Alethea will know this girl's name. She no longer builds a business with us, but she built an incredible elite business and then went on, like she bought her mom a house, brought her mom to the US, and then went to like with what she built in her business, she went to dentistry school and she became a dentist. And she's from another country and she was a lead of mine. And our first connection was a text, me just saying, hey, I'm your coach with Beachbody. I saw that you ordered and she became a coach. So I think text is a good way to connect. With all things though, whether it's email or texting though, if they're like, please don't contact me, make sure you put them on your do not contact list. So cool. That's a great question. And I have a question for Nicole. Snap me a photo of that fireplace and text it to me later. We were fireplace shopping today and we're like stuck, and that's kind of like what Gabby liked. So send
Okay.
that to
It's
me.
it's old, but okay.
Yeah,
This is
I like
like
the
my
style of
spot.
the light around
I'm
it.
always in front of here.
Awesome. I know that's not what the team called, but send that to me before I forget.
Okay, will do.
Cool.
Is that wood burning or is it gas?
It's gas. Yeah,
Those are so nice. You just
Yeah.
flip on the switch
Instant.
and there you have a fire.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to share, I shared it in our Diamond and Above leadership chat, is one of the leaders, I think it was Kim Ray, sent an interview that Carl was in, and they were just talking about some of the things. It's probably I didn't even pay attention to what it was. It was probably their quarterly call for like stocks and stuff like that, or what's coming up with the company. But they were talking about a solution they're coming up for, just so that you guys are aware, and I was super excited to hear that, where a lot of people in this world are feeling something called subscription fatigue, which is mean they're just getting fatigued of how many subscriptions and people that make you pay subscriptions for thing. And I see it on my YouTube channel all day long because I talk about new programs. I do reviews like 2 or 3 times a week of programs when I do them. And almost every time there's 5 to 10 comments of like, I wish I could just buy the program and not have to buy them all. And Carl, it's not an official announcement. They said they have something in the works where they're going to make bundled the ability for someone to purchase just what they want in the future. So I was like, that's going to be something awesome too, I think, for us. So if like someone didn't want 7,000 workouts on BODi and all of the nutrition stuff, and they just wanted to do dig deeper, they could just buy an forever access to just dig deeper or something like that, digital. We don't know what it is. It was just an announcement. That's something they're working on for later this year. So that was pretty cool thing to hear as well. A way for us to help people that might not want access to everything. Oh, cool. Any other questions?
I have one more.
You can ask as
Sorry.
many questions as you want until our 45-minute call is up.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hog the call, you guys, but I don't know if it's because of our situation where we have some kind of glitches in communication signals here because of the fire. Because our fiber optics burned and all the cell towers burned down, and so we've got a lot of temporary stuff, but I've been having a hard time getting onto the platform. It shows me a Shakeology bottle and it says, we're working out too. We're sorry for the inconvenience. Has
Oh.
anybody else had that issue?
No, it must be something with what you guys have going on over there.
Okay,
With the connection not being strong enough
yeah,
or
okay.
steady enough per se. Cool. Anybody else have any great questions? And I have things too if you guys don't have questions that I can share. Can I share something while you guys think about questions? Okay. Mario says I'll be back February 5th. Mario's going to enroll as a coach. I invited him to come on here and listen. Going through some hard life struggles lately, and had to wait for some things to get finalized and through, and he's going to be joining our team as well. So I'm glad Mario's here. One of the things that I've been thinking a lot about and talking, maybe we talked about kind of a lot throughout the week when we were with Nicole, but just some observations that I really made. And then I was listening to Tony Robbins on Ed Milet's podcast just a few days ago. If you haven't heard that podcast, I highly suggest listening to it. It's kind of like promoting Tony Robbins' 3rd book in his investing series. It'll be the 3rd of his book on investing. So there's a lot of talk on investing and stock market and where to invest, kind of promoting his book. But they talk about a lot of things. And one of the things he talked about was, and I won't be able to quote it, I'm not very good at it, but he talks about how like hard times create like good working people or something, hardworking people, and then hardworking people create good times. Good times create hard, like softer people that don't know how to work hard. And it's a cycle that repeats itself throughout history. And he kind of goes through that. But he was talking about just the difficulty of the economy, where the economy's at. And, sometimes I think in the body world, we're in this world, this body bubble, right? Where we're building a business, we're learning how to market, learn how to sell, how to help our customers. And it's been a difficult season, right? Could we say it's been a difficult season? It's been a little bit more challenging, a little bit different. During COVID was like explosive for us as a company. And there's been explosive periods, and it's like a roller coaster, any business is, but it's been a difficult season. And he reminded on that podcast he were with Ed Milet, he reminded us that it's been the course of history since forever that there's, he used Jim Rohn as a quote, that there's always a springtime and a winter time in business. And after winter, that's like, if you work hard and then you'll get to take the benefits from spring when it's harder. And he talks about that. And he talked about that today. So just remembering, like, that was good for me to remember that we're in a winter time, and that's okay. It's normal. There's been winters and spring times in business for all of history. But when I was on this retreat, the thing that was most powerful to me is those of us that plan the retreat, we're all business owners, and not just in BODi. There's one that has a vacation rental business, ones that have a tour business. There's one that has like it's like an anti-fog business where you go to events and you have a table set up and you make your sales face to face. And so we're all business owners. And what I really realized is, just by talking with each of them and them being my friends, they're all in a super, super difficult time of their life. Like one of them, it was our 11th year in a row, he couldn't come because he didn't have the right employees in place and revenue is low, and he needed to be the person at the table face to face with the customers, and he just wasn't able to come because he needed to be at that event for his business. And one of them that he mentions are vacation rentals, for example. Super hard times. He had to, and thanks for quoting that, Matthew. So you're gonna have to listen to my butchered up version. One of them with a vacation rental business, like he had to, for example, let go a whole bunch of employees in southern Utah and hire new people that had more talent, that were, hired someone new. It's actually Jen Greenberg's husband to run the sales department, and he's like with the owners and making the house, like getting the houses up to date because they weren't as taken care of. And so making lots of changes, and it's a hard season of business for them, right? And so they had to make huge changes, and it was just a really powerful thing for me to see that, like, it's not like just in BODi, right? Because I guess I share that because I see people be like, okay, this doesn't work anymore, I'm going to go do XYZ and go do something else. When in fact, it's just we're in a winter season, like Jim Rohn says. So it was really powerful for me to be around other business owners and be like, okay, because sometimes I feel pressure too, like, oh, I'm doing everything I possibly can, and things aren't moving as fast as I would like them to. I know they're moving. I know we're doing good. People are getting results. I have coaches earning good money, but it's not like the springtime seasons, and I wish it would be springtime all the time. But it was good to see that and connect with other people, other business owners that are friends, and be like, hey, yeah, you're not alone in this. We're all struggling through different things. So I'm going to quote what Matt wrote: hard times create strong people create good times create weak people, and weak people create hard times. So that was the quote that he shared. I really love that. I would highly suggest listening to that audio. So as I'm waiting for a question to come in, I'm committed to working as hard as I can through the hard season, through the winter season, to have a very plentiful springtime. And I just want to share kind of one of the questions in one of our Diamond Mastermind chats, and it kind of came up when we were in Salt Lake this past weekend. It was like, what are you doing to recruit? My main things is I'm stepping way outside of my comfort zone. So that's step number one, is getting outside of my comfort zone. And there's two ways that I'm recruiting right now for my team, for our team. Number one is like, I'm committed, like so much of my energy is going into helping people with my 90-day shred group. So I have 28 people in my 90-day shred group that I'm working with. And like, speaking about my friends who are like in the trenches again, like my friend that's had to travel to San Francisco and even though he's the CEO, be the one at the booth selling, or my vacation rental guy and Mike, having to go down and like they're repairing things themselves, buying TVs, putting new TVs in, using furniture markers to clean up dents and make things look nice. That's kind of what I'm doing in my business as well. So like right now, my daughter is one of my assistants, and she's great. She's so consistent, and she runs my challenge groups. She has for like 2 years. Like, I post in my challenge group, but she makes sure that every comment has a like or a comment on it. So if one of my customers, like let's say Laura, you're in my bod group and you're like, today was X day in week 2 or whatever, the comment is my daughter. Like, she is my assistant working as me. And so one of the biggest shifts I've made is I'm getting back in the trenches, because I realized that's what I loved most when I first started. Was I couldn't wait to check on my P90X group and like do challenges with them and see what they were up to. And so I've really dug into that. Like, I don't care how long it takes me in a day to read every single one and comment it, but my engagement is like through the roof compared to before. But the biggest thing for me is I actually know what they're doing. So before, like with my daughter running it and me not looking at it, like what's the word? I keep using the Spanish word at home. Not disengaged, descuidado. I wasn't paying attention to it very much. And so I didn't really know what was going on, but I was still consistent with my actions of they would be on my follow-up list to check in with them because they're a purchasing customer. So I would be like, hey, Alma, how was your week? How was your nutrition? How are your workouts? Or what week, whatever my private message would be. And now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I was so silly, because now I would know, like Alma just shared that she's a day behind, or she skipped this day because she was that. And it's just been so much more powerful for me to like be back in the trench and doing that myself. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the best way to recruit, because I know which ones are cheering other people on, who are showing up the most consistent, to be the ones that I'm inviting to be a coach with me when I run my next group. So my strategy for recruiting this year is get people the most incredible results with 90-day shred, with Dig Deeper, because it's a hard program. And it's like, if people are willing to commit to that program, like we did back in the day with P90X, they're hardworking people. They're making sacrifices. They're getting up early. They're doing 2 workouts a day. And so I'm working hard on recruiting, and my recruiting is going to be very simple, in the fact of when my next, they're 3 weeks in, my group is. So when, let's say February comes around, or March, I mean, and I'm going to do, April, when I'm going to do my next group, it's on my calendar over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let's say Nicole was one of my customers in that group. I'm going to say, and I transitioned Nicole into coaching. I'm not going to be like, okay, Nicole, here's the road to elite. I need you to hit Success Club 5. I need you to hit Emerald. Here's the Body Partners group. Here's the share card, like just overwhelming Nicole with all of the info. I'm just going to be like, Nicole, our group starts on April 4th. I'm just throwing the date out. Who are 2 friends that you want to have that same experience that you had in our group with you? And then I'm just going to keep it really simple, and then help Nicole learn how to bring 2 people, at least 2 people in, and have her see those first commissions before I'm even like doing a getting started right call and what are your goals and here's how you get into office and here's how you hit Success Club and here's the rewards and register for Summit and here's a Success Starter program. Instead of overwhelming with all that stuff, I'm just going to keep it really simple, run 4 Dig Deeper groups throughout this year, back to back to back, and recruit from those groups, and then help those new partners recruit some people into the next group. Does that make sense? So that's my recruiting strategy number 1. The recruiting strategy number 2 for me is I started my podcast, but it's not for the reason I thought I would start a podcast 6 or 7 years ago when I kept putting it off and never did it. Like back then, I can honestly say I wanted to do it because I wanted to share my voice and share what I've learned with other people and add value to them. My whole reason right now is I want to learn from high-performing athletes, professional athletes, high-performing athletes, and business owners on how they're successful and interview them. So I'm doing that for me to know how I can continue to take myself to the next level in business outside of just BODi. So I want to interview them for that purpose, but I also want to be connected with those type of people. Does that make sense? Because I want to recruit people like them or people that they might know or have connections with on my team. So that's really my strategy for recruiting. Like tomorrow, I see you, Lauren, and I'll ask in just one second. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing at 11:30. He started his own business here, training high school athletes, and he has friends that are college football team coaches, and he like is really good at connecting, like training high school level kids, helping them know where to submit all their stuff so that they can get accepted into D1 colleges. And he started a program where he trains these athletes. So and he's a former NFL player for Seattle. And so like, I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow, and I'm doing that so I can learn, obviously have that connection as well. I mean, that's someone that will connect me as we build a friendship with other high level performing athletes and people that are business owners too, because I want to be around those people. But I also know those people will be my best partners if this is something that will work for them, or if I build that friendship and relationship with them, they're going to be someone that'll be like, oh, I know somebody that loves health and fitness that's looking for a way to earn extra money. Does that make sense? So those are the type of people, like I can just honestly say, like, even when we built our team to top 10, I was like, I'll take anybody and everybody. Like bring me all the people. I'll sign 20 partners a month and then hope one sticks. That's just kind of how my strategy was. But I want to be really intentional with who I'm recruiting, and then making sure also that it's someone that if I do a 5-night trip, like Nicole was just on, that I would be comfortable with them in a house for 5 days watching football games and hanging out. So I'm just being really intentional on that. So those are the 2 ways that I'm recruiting. Okay. Laura, what other question do you have?
No, I was wondering the name of your podcast, but I already have you in here, so never mind.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Shaylee said that's the type of people that would make great partners. Don't be shy.
I just have a question about the podcast that you said with Tony Robbins and Ed Milet. Is that a newer one? Because I listened to one with him, but it was a few years
No,
old,
it
I
just
think.
came out this past week because
Okay.
there was a virtual event that started today for 3 days for free that Tony
Oh.
Robbins is hosting. So it was kind of promoting that as well.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
on the Ed Milet show, and it was probably, I watched it today, but it was probably 2 or 3 days old.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's awesome. Even for like, I was listening to it while I was eating my lunch today, and it was about investing, and Gabby's like, wait, what is this? I need to listen to this because, we haven't paid too much attention other than having an advisor just put it where you want it, put it where you think
Yeah.
is best. So
Yeah.
listening to that was awesome.
I learned a hard lesson this week.
Yeah, I think we would all like to learn.
Oh no, I can barely even talk about it. I'm still emotional, but oh well. So, yeah, I posted a picture of my son. He wasn't it was an old picture and he wasn't wearing a shirt. So then I got reported for child nudity,
Uh-huh.
which is horrible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they removed my whole entire Instagram. I have no access to any of my posts, any of my followers, and I've built so many relationships over the years. So the hard lesson would be to make a list, because if you don't have a list, you don't have a business, and your list cannot be your followers, because you can't rely on social media. And that, yeah, you want to make sure that you have a way to get to people even if you don't have that account. Does that make sense?
That does. Sorry to hear.
So, well, I was trying to get clear on a new niche anyway, so we're gonna take this as a fresh start and try to get really focused like you did, Scotty, with your purpose. And I know that you've had a lot of results with doing that, and I really wasn't gaining a ton of followers anyway.
Yeah.
So might as well just get really clear and use this as an opportunity. But I am pretty sad about it, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I love that you shared that with us. I don't love that it happened,
Yeah.
but thank you so much for sharing. Like, I love that you're like, here's my solution. I'm going to, get focused on my new niche and really figure out my purpose and start fresh.
Yeah, and I'll be able to dive into any list that I do have. Unfortunately, sometimes I lose my notebooks, or do you know what I mean? There's things
Yeah.
that come up, like the kids draw all over it or something like that.
Yeah.
So it'll give me a chance to get fresh on what I'm gonna focus on. So
Yeah. If I were you, what I would do is, as you start your new page with Instagram,
yeah.
you kind of check out what I'm doing. I could give some tips on what's like one thing that's working really well is like faceless, like uplifting posts in whatever your niche is, because they get shared. Like anytime I put myself in it, or Gabby, as pretty as she might be, it doesn't get shared.
Yeah.
Like if it's like a sunset or the moon or the trees with snow on it, and then your message, people will share that in their stories, and that's how they get more traction and more get out there more. So I would start fresh with that. And then immediately, even if when it gets to 100 followers, like you can be starting conversations right away. Obviously, we know they're fresh. That could take 3, 6, 9 months before they're ready to join you, if that's the case. So that would be step number 1 that I would do. Step number 2 would be go into, because you've had your coach account for quite some time now, go into your customer list, download, export the email and phone number list, and just start connecting with those people.
Yeah, I was looking through that list recently, and I've got some really good stuff in there. So
Awesome.
especially when you have old coaches that drop off, and then now you have you are their coach now.
Yeah.
And I noticed I haven't added a lot of those people sometimes, and there's little things that definitely have fell through the cracks with that. And so my question, I guess, would be, how do you organize your follow-ups with that back office stuff? Because sometimes that's a little overwhelming,
Yeah.
And you said that you're checking in with people who are buying product more often, whereas the other people that maybe are just leads, don't have an active subscription. You're just maybe texting them and introducing yourself and asking if they're working out, or wait, they don't even have an active subscription. So my guess is that they're not working out.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out, just like Laura, I've been diving into that list and like looking at it and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I think just start there, and everybody's different on how they want to organize or follow up and do all of that. Like you could go back to using notebooks. Again, you can use an Excel spreadsheet. You can, it's really whatever feels best to you. Like some people categorize them as, these are partner follow-ups. These are people who have health and fitness goals. And these are people who have purchased something. And then you decide how often you reach out to either of those lists or prospects or customers. One of my biggest goals going into this year is to get more organized, because for 13 years, I've just used a spiral notebook. And then probably 6-7 years ago, I switched to just using my notes, because it was always on my phone or my sync to my phone and my MacBook. So whether I'm sitting on my laptop or on my phone, I can see my list of all my follow-ups. But recently, like I bought a program, and I'm not telling you to go buy a program, but I bought a program that helps me collect emails and do email marketing to those emails. But there's also like a funnel system in it. Like I can create what's called a pipeline. And so that's what I'm doing. So I created like a pipeline on it that has like interested in 90-day shred, dig deeper, interested, follow up, share a cart, purchased. Like I have these different things and I move, there's a little box of their info and whatever stage they're at, I just move them to the next stage. So for example, like I'm continually getting people that are opting in, and it happens when they comment shred on one of my posts, they fill out a form and then they come into my email list and into that pipeline. And so I can move them. So when I'm ready to start recruiting, like let's say 3.5 weeks before my next group, then what I can do is I still have that pipeline, and there's people that I sent share cards before that didn't get into this group, or there's people that I never got past the follow-up or ghosted me where I can go reach back. So there's lots of ways that you can do it. It just depends on what feels best to you. And right now that feels so, I know it's more organized, but it feels so weird to me I'm just used to pull up my follow-up list when I'm sitting down and go through them. So
Yeah, I appreciate it. I definitely have been very discouraged, but I know everything happens for a reason. So
okay. Thanks for sharing that. Mario said, create 2 Instagram accounts, link them to each other, put your cell number in it, and save your list and leads on your phone. I used to save them as a lead. Once they are saved to your phone, social media, share access from the phone to IG or any social media platform, and follow them again in case you're locked out of any social media platform. So there's a tip as well. But this is a great and this is something I learned way back in the day with Shalene Johnson about growing an email list and email marketing. Like she used to just say, like, one day your social media could be taken away from you and you have no business. And I did it for the longest time. And I just started back again when I met in Kentucky with some of our leaders. When I saw how how organized Beth was with her leads and her emails. So that would be advice too, Shaylee, as you get re-engaged, and for anyone on here, is to, start building an email list, whether it's your customer list on Team Beachbody. That's a free way you can do it. Like anytime you have a conversation, it's like, as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I used to do that when I was brand new. If you go to like the tool to create links, not the share a cart, but you can still go like search on Google BODi, create links, and it'll pop up the tool, Beachbody tool. I can't remember exactly what the page is called, but you put in your partner ID number, hit submit, and then it puts links to like each challenge pack, or here's a link to Energize. You can go to one that says like free enrollment, partner sign up, preferred customer sign up, and so forth. And so what I used to do that I'm just thinking of right now, if you want to start, it's a way to do it, is like, let's say you start a conversation, Shaylee, with a girl named Jessica, and she's not ready to buy anything, but you start your conversation. You can be like, hey, what I need you to do is fill out this, or here's a link to create a free membership. Like, and I'll be your coach. It doesn't require any purchase, and it just helps me better keep track of our conversation. However you want to word that feels best to you. Product directory links. Yes, thanks, Alma. And so the way that works is, if, let's say Shaylee or anyone on here, if when Jessica creates that free account, all she does is creates a free BODi account and it's linked to you. So she goes onto your customer onto your customer list, but she hasn't purchased anything. What happens then is, if 2 things happen. If she ever purchases anything, she's already listed under you, so that's going to be credited to you. But it's also a way to build a list in a way, because she's in your customer list. Like when you export your contacts, her email and whatever's going to be in there.
is that
So,
different than body previews?
yes, it would just be, let me show you 1 second. Great BODi links. Let me share my screen real quick. Okay, and then it is my second daughter's 15th birthday. Isn't that so crazy? They are growing up too fast. Share
Oh my
screen.
gosh. Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, Mila's birthday. Okay, let me share this. So right here, like I just searched in create body links. It's this Team Beachbody Coach Tools, partner links and product info. So like if you went like this, let's say I put my number 595-444, I hit submit. Like you can, this will like jump you down the page to anything. But we're gonna go, there's body previews, the product quizzes. If you go to enrollment, there's free membership, partner enrollment, preferred customer membership. So free membership, like let's say I just copied it right here on the right. If I sent that link to somebody, they could create a body. They just put their name, their email, create their password, and they have a free membership, and they would populate onto your customer list.
Yeah, I always did that for free groups, but this is everybody learn from my mistakes, okay?
There you go.
Go
Yes.
and do that with anyone you're talking to.
Yeah, so anyone you're talking to, you could be getting them into your customer list on Body. And once again, the benefit of that is Beachbody is going to market to them as well, like the Body bike sale. They're going to get all the marketing emails that you get. And so, you know, Body could do the sale without your work in some cases with that as well. Cool.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for sharing that with us, Shaylee. All right, well, I need to get out.
Sorry,
Oh,
we
go
could
ahead,
probably put that, and we could probably put that link right on our website too. If you have people going to your website, then they can just go, oh, free membership, and
Yeah,
they don't,
sure.
you know, then they just sign up.
Let me see if I'm logged into my Instagram real quick. My daughter's probably logged in. Okay, she's logged in. Let me see. Yeah, like you know on Instagram, like you can have your link on there and you could put like a link tree or something. By all means, you could put one of the options is make me your free coach. No cost or whatever. And it's that, and you put that link in there. Like I have a Energize link in there. It's like buy a tub of Energize as a link in that as well. And you would create that link in that same spot. You'd go down the list, you go to supplements, find the Energize, and you can get that direct link to Energize. So yeah, awesome. That's a great tip. So anyway, thank you guys for being live on the team call with us today. It was recorded. So if you have a coach on your team that could benefit from it, make sure to share it with them. And then if any other questions pop up and you're like, oh, I should have asked that question, just go on the Dynasty Strong Level Up Squad team page, drop that question in there, and one of our leaders will make sure to, you know, answer that question for you. So hope you guys have an incredible rest of your evening, and thank you for being on live, and we'll see you guys next Thursday. See ya.